You can do this, but you don't know who you are. I know who you are. You're gone. You quit. We won't see you again. Ha, ha, ha.
Remember, you heard it right here from Detecto Rizzo Mac. Peace.
Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Put the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. A fight inherited, no turning back, we're on our way. Tune into Eve at the end of your day, defying the odds. She's breaking the mold, black, beautifully blunt. Eve's story is bold, unpopular talks, but they need to be heard. Eve's on a mission, spreading the word. Black America is fighting the oldest fight, using her voice, shining the light. Stay ready, stay strong, that's her creed. Eve's got the wisdom, planting the seed. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Planting seeds. Cut the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. A fight inherited, no turning back, we're on our way. Tune into Eve at the end of your day, defying the odds. She's breaking the mold, black, beautifully blunt. Eve's story is bold, unpopular talks, but they need to be heard. Eve's on a mission, spreading the word. Black America is fighting the oldest fight, using her voice, shining the light. Stay ready, stay strong, that's her creed. Eve's got the wisdom, planting the seed. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Planting seeds. The check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. The check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. Cut the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. The check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience.
What's going on, happy people? Happy Friday. Today is November 22nd. I'm Eve, and welcome to my show. What's going on, Spirit Wonder?
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
You know, woke and broke. Mid-Americans get angry. Mediocre Americans get angry. MAGA make America great again. However you want to describe it, the American people are not as happy with being woke as people wanted us to think. I mean, literally, the woman that was interviewing Kamala when she was having that word vomit salad of being woke, her face was just it was a little like, what's going on? Okay, well, I guess if we're here, then, well, we're going to have to do something about it tonight, because, it is the end of your day. It's a couple things I wanted to talk about because, being woke has a cost. And, people think that it is when you are not progressive that you don't get things done, but maybe being too progressive will stifle opportunities. Maybe it will keep resources, tangibles, benefits away from a more deserving population. Maybe, just maybe, doing things for, 2% of the population when 98% of the population is starving.
Silver linings about what this moment in time has done to maybe cause a lot of us to be woke. And I love it. I love it. But folks are woke, and I love it. I love it.
I bet she does love it, right? Because in the midst of all of these people waking up, well, Kadumi was just cackling her ass off. Spirit Wonder, I'm with you. That drunken laugh, that pill-induced humorous activities that Kamala was engaging in, allegedly. But I did see that one picture of her playing some sort of board game with her nieces, and she had her wine glass right next to her. It's almost like, we're trying to normalize some things, right? That the Democrats, they've been trying to normalize things that don't make sense. And I wonder if it is to allow things that we wouldn't have said yes to, in a stupor. When you're in an induced situation or an induced state, you are susceptible, or at least more open to things that maybe you would be more reserved about. In 2024, you would think that with all of the progressive movements and progressive thinking and thoughts, and you can love who you want to love and be who you want to be all that you can be, that would be, I guess, the epitome of the American dream, right? I mean, I'm not trying to belabor an issue as much as I really want to hone in on a very misunderstood point. Being too woke could cost you everything. I mean, is it so important to be so inclusive that we ignore common sense? People were saying that things were not costing what they used to cost. We can't afford to feed our families. We're having to choose between traveling in our cars and, well, food.
More woke than less woke. Yeah. Prices have gone up. And families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's about having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously, very seriously.
They take it so seriously that they ignored the American people when, when it mattered. How do you spend $1 billion and lose to a man who's not known for being frugal beats me. I mean, really, everybody's, well, not everybody, but a lot of people's biggest talking point about the orange man, the president-elect, number 45 and future 47, that he's a bad businessman, that he's a horrible businessman. Look at how many times he's gone bankrupt. It's, well, I guess it's almost like some of you don't know how money works or how you can loan money to yourself, borrow money, steal money from yourself sometimes even, and then not have to pay it back. Or, loan money, borrow money, steal money from, corporations because you had access to these spaces. And then again, you don't have to pay it back, especially if you've got, the right people in place to fight these fights for you. $1 billion up against 750,000 million. Hold on. How much did they say Trump spent? Let's see what the good old Google says. Trump campaign and pro-Republican outside groups spent $1.4 billion to $1.8 billion. It's very interesting because I believe the numbers not even a week ago were looking a little different. According to Forbes on November 4th, if I can ever get past these ad blockers, it was a record-setting race, a projected $15.9 billion in spending across the federal races, which would eclipse the prior presidential election of 2020, which was at around $15.1 billion, which would trump 2016, no pun intended, with $6.5 billion. So 2016 to 2020, there was a very big push in making sure that people were aware of the things, how much money was raised, and then how much money was spent. Well, that's the question. And if you can raise all of this money and then not spend it wisely, are you the best person for the job? A few articles that I read talked about how, well, the biggest issue was, again, the raising of the money. And what if you hadn't spent all of the money and then you lost? Well, I don't know that you'd be able to come back from that. All of the different people across these party lines, they'd have these issues because, Democrat, Republican, people with issues about Trump, they really wanted Kamala to win, by any means necessary. And people were going back on how they felt about things in order to align with other things, the chameleon aspect. That's why people called her Chameleon Kamala, because of all of the cosplaying. But, well, inside of the cosplaying, you've got the original cosplayers, Democrats and the Republicans, two wings, same bird, don't forget it. But, they used to be on the opposite sides of things. The Democrats used to be the angry racists in the capes and hoods and burning crosses and firebombing homes, and the Republicans being the other side of things. Is it that Black America has been so good at being frugal and conscious of our dollar that continues to keep us on the conservative side of things? Not that we wouldn't, lend the shirt off of our backs for a person in need, but, I find that sometimes these systems, they mimic very natural occurrences, from actual nature, animals and such, doing the things that animals do, and you can see it in the machinery and technology, to the people systems. How do the animals get along? Y'all should check out The Lion King. I swear it's my favorite children's movie of all time. Not the Beyonce version, But the original Lion King, and I know Disney has a sordid past, very fucked up origins, but that movie definitely gave you some insights on the hierarchy of things, even if the lion eats the bird, in nature. Because is the lion eating all the birds, or is it just, when it's hungry? And then, well, some animals do power moves, and some animals are very beta. Inside of 2024, you've got Tampon Tim. I don't know if that's power moves or if it's beta moves, but his wife has very strong feelings about how he should move. You got Joe, who probably should have been asleep a long time ago. And I don't mean dead sleep. I just mean like sleep because he's old and forgetting where he is, forgetting he's president. Just a few years back, Kamala is comparing ICE to the KKK, and it's just very interesting how people can use all of these systems to their benefit, to support their narrative. And then the moment Black America does it, we get called the boogeyman. But I thought that we were being woke. She said that we've got to be woke. You gotta just
we
wake
have
up.
to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Well, the Klan was what we would call today a domestic terrorist group.
Why? Why would we call them domestic terrorist group?
Because they tried to use fear and force to change political environment.
And what was the motivation for the use of fear and
It
force?
was based on race and ethnicity.
Right. Are you aware of the perception of many about how the power and the discretion at ICE is being used to enforce the laws? And do you see any parallels?
I do not see any parallels between
I'm talking about perception.
officers and agents.
I'm talking about perception.
I do not see a parallel between what is constitutionally mandated as it relates to enforcing the law.
Are you aware that
protecting
there's a
people's rights.
perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a
that
perception?
puts ICE in the same category as the KKK? Is that what you're asking me?
She's good when she wants to be good. And I'm not saying that was good. I'm just saying that she's not cackling there. It's not jokes. It's not kiki, kaka, everything's so fucking funny. She's trying to get down to business. She's trying to get some answers to some things because she's just, she's feeling some kind of way. I feel some kind of way when I'm looking at the news, and actually, I don't actually look at the news, but news articles from different outlets pop up on my feed from time to time, and I can't help but notice that there is a pattern, and the pattern is money. How it's being spent, who it's being spent on, why we should give a damn. Well, I guess I give a damn because I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. And I feel like law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, people who are supposed to be here, people who are undeportable, I feel like we should be able to say things about the things, especially, when we exist in a time where people who are not from here, not supposed to be here, are here illegally, and then they've got such vitriol for things. Like, how dare you come over here and say anything about things? I know. I should probably stop using that word because it is very basic, but we're talking to mid-America tonight, and basic is as basic does. But did you know in Pennsylvania, they're canceling the requirements for culturally relevant and sustaining education? It is CRT 2.0, essentially. And inside of this, I understand that people are saying that these are just side effects of the Trump presidency. People are afraid of losing the power where they are, so they're trying to acquiesce and get on board with, the upcoming leadership, so to speak. But is it just that, or has middle America. That would be the voting class, the people who are not felons, the people who are not the upper echelon 2% Oprahs and such, the people who have to drive on the highway to get to work, the people who have to go to Walmart to get food. The fact that Walmart even has a grocery store when it used to just be, a glorified, underglorified department store is just it's a very strange time we're living in. But for all of these corners that are being cut, it seems like we are just losing left and right. Again, Kamala asking these hard questions, again, this was a few years ago, so maybe she had to put on a serious face. She had to be more aggressive about things that she was saying was important to her and her constituents. But I just, in 2024 and in 2022, and I guess all the way up until now, when people are confused about why, we've got these issues, it is, again, a highlighted pattern if you pay attention to it, or maybe I'm just making connections that aren't there. A couple years ago, when she's asking why the KKK would be a domestic terrorist organization and then likening them to ICE, when we should have systems in place here to protect the interests of the people here. I mean, ICE isn't just kicking people out. It is the asylum seekers. It is the people doing the behind the scenes work to make sure that we are safe from invasion. But what type of invasion? You've got the free sex people and you've got the give me all you got people, right?
I'm not finished. Are you aware that there's a perception that ICE is administering its power in a way that is causing fear and intimidation, particularly among immigrants, and specifically among immigrants coming from Mexico and Central America?
Again, shouldn't we have systems in place that protect the interests of the American people? I mean, especially if the government's not going to do it, right? Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Their mission is to protect America from cross-border crime and illegal immigration that threaten national security and public safety. So, if they are the boogeyman, then maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know. It's almost like you guys didn't grow up playing shame, shame, shame. But I don't know. I guess last week I talked about they don't want to go back to Mexico no more. But they're going to have to, because there's a big fat policeman at the door. The big fat policeman being Tom Homan. But, I don't know that he's fat. Trump's trying to make America fit again, using RFK Jr. as the spokesperson for health. So maybe there won't be a big fat policeman. It'll just be a big bad policeman. But whatever, we need our borders policed, and maybe it needs to be a very scary person right there, like a scarecrow, right? A scarecrow is essentially benign, but the birds don't know that. They just know that there's this ugly, scary presence impeding their ability to feed on your crops in peace. What the fuck is wrong with a benign scarecrow? Other than, it is absolutely something that will have ramifications if you do things that you're not supposed to do, which would be unlike a scarecrow, which is an inanimate object. I'm sorry that I have to define these things, but I find that in 2024, with people having issues with things, look, there was this, I don't know if you guys can see my background because I'm on the screen all big. Oh, there we go. The department is catering to people who were personally devastated by Trump's presidency. This is people on Kamala's side of things, and they're very upset that she didn't win. And I'm like, maybe they're upset that they spent so much money and, it didn't go the way that they wanted it to go. And I guess I would understand that, but to the tune of the American people have to pay for your shrink, that's a little much, because really some of y'all are still getting phone calls from Kamala's people asking you to donate to her loss. I don't know it. If free love and giving all of our money away is the democratic way, then maybe they do need to find a new way, from schools being sued for their inclusivity requirements to, again, schools dropping these requirements to have culturally relevant and sustaining education programs. It's like America is waking up again. In New York, everybody's favorite mayor, Mayor Adams, he's been calling for the involuntary removal of people, but it's not what you think. With New York having such an influx of people who are not from there being there, you would think that you could be more confident to talk about the interests of the Americans that you serve. But again, I find that across the board, people are very cautious about how they use words. And then they don't want to step on anybody's toes. They don't want to anger anybody. And if you do that, then you're going to anger other people. It becomes very dangerous. And, well, what do? I guess he's trying to remove the homeless people from the streets because of the illegals who are taking over the streets. Y'all have to look this up. Raymond Rivera, 51, he was charged with stabbing, 3 stabbings, I guess. And he's but one of many illegals in New York, just taking up space and taking up resources, and the American people that are there are having to deal with these issues. Mayor Adams says that people who are a danger to themselves and a danger to others, we need to be able to take the action to involuntarily move them off the streets. I think he would go a little bit further, just saying that, if you aren't American, you got to go. And if you don't want to go, we'll help you out. I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard, but maybe people are afraid of, well, I guess they're afraid of actually waking up. Before it got taken over and fucked up by white people, woke was not this progressive movement. It literally was like, nigga, wake up, because, your shit's on fire. And, we can even take it back to Dr. King time, when he said that he didn't know the ramifications of what the fuck he was doing until it was too late. That sounds like the house is burning down and the niggas is asleep. Wake up, nigga. Your house is burning down. But then, oh no, we can't focus on our house burning down because all these other houses, that's it, not are burning down, but all these other houses. There's other houses on your street. You worried about your house for? Yeah, I know it's on fire, but other houses, all houses matter. You gotta wake up. Wake up from that selfish thought that, you have to put out the fire that is your house, let alone the fact that you will not get assistance on rebuilding anything. You better pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Black American Negro. Oh, and then to you other melanated people coming over here, you did ask for this, so you better pull yourself up by your bootstraps too. Is too woke a problem? It's it's a little disheartening to know that when our oldest many goes to high school, it is very possible that the people that she has to compete with athletically could have been born with a penis. And that's fucking crazy. But then, as I prepared for this show tonight, popped up on my feed. It's the schools in my area are they're gonna start meeting because well, schools are gonna start closing. And then I start looking up like why parents are unenrolling from the district specifically, and they say segregation, underfunding, and overcrowded, outdated facilities. Looking at the stats for other things that get resources in this area, and I find that I've seen with my own eyeballs places that have illegals waiting in lines out the door for room and board. You know, little hotel, motels, little schools that used to be schools, not schools anymore, because, well, the school closed because they weren't getting any money. But now that it's not a school anymore, it can get some money. Is too woke costing America? I don't know. I don't know. Tonight I wanted to just ask a question because $1 billion, do you know what Umar could have done with $1 billion? No, I'm just playing. But I mean, really, he said he needed 1 million. So what's 1 billion when y'all are giving it away to people who don't like you? At the end of the day, it's going to be up to the American people to continue to say the things that matter to them matter, and then to do things that make that math. For example, last year and this year, Chicago has been in the limelight because the people said, no, what the fuck are y'all doing with these illegals? No, hell no. And then they got Uncle Lori out of there. The new mayor, Mayor Brandon, he's been under significant scrutiny because of the deficit in the budget, roughly $1 billion. But it's not like these people have a pattern of spending $1 billion and not actually doing anything that makes sense. No. But the people in Chicago, they've been pretty vocal, on a local level about how they're not going to continue to put up with the bullshit. On the opposite side of the country, in California, well, the Congressional Black Caucus stood in the way of a reparations bill that they themselves worked on for 2-3 years. Too woke. Too woke is Kamala having an accent to match her outfit, to match the audience for every single public speaking engagement she had. Because, I mean, really, like, who are you? If you can put on a Spanish accent, a Russian accent, a French accent, try to do a black accent, and then, you've still got your Bollywood accent. Who are you? I saw multiple personal interviews of Indian Americans who said that they didn't fuck with Kamala because they didn't know who she was. It didn't matter that she had a little shindig with Mindy Kaling. Who cares? And then, also, they don't really vote like that either. So, who cares? Too woke. Too woke is thinking that all of America gives a damn when most of America stayed home. But, I'm not going to be here all night. I just wanted to, well, I wanted to remind you that we're not lost as long as we don't lose our way thinking that we have to include everybody. It's okay to be mean. It's okay to be America first. I mean, really, if we were more America first, then maybe people who don't have a direct tie to the land wouldn't be in control of resources. The fact that our Congress and political members and bodies can be children of immigrants is just very strange.
I don't, anyway, I just think that there are other things on leaders' minds and they respond to what's needed at the time. And look, nobody likes having celebrated international meetings if you don't know what you want at the meeting, if you don't have a game plan. He may have a game plan. He just hasn't shared it with me. But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
And I don't know about you, but I'm about to go to bed too. But before I go to bed, I just wanted to say that Joe's not wrong. Nobody likes coming to the table if nobody knows what the fuck we're talking about. It's a waste of time. Almost like how Democrats have been churning the midnight oil to ensure that they get some judges in before Joe takes his last stroll through the White House as president. You know, it is very strange that people think that we're still on the symbolism aspect when they didn't roll out Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill when they said they would. That should have been an indicator for Black America that, you know, we're doing the thing. We're doing the things. Keep doing these things because they're working. But, you know, I guess it takes them to admit defeat before some of you guys will wake up. But will it be too late? Will you be too broken? I mean, Mid-America's angry, all right? They were angry enough to say, yeah, we're cool with the in-your-face racist because the behind-your-back racist, well, they starting wars out here.